Yeah, good morning. So I think people have joined. Let's start. Okay, so till now, what we have seen in OAD, we have seen the basics of object-oriented concepts. We have seen what object-oriented means in OAD. We have seen the meaning of design. We have seen the meaning of analysis. Then in the lab, I have told you the basics regarding UML. What are the structural diagrams like class diagram, object diagram, component diagram, deployment diagram. Its examples I will show you tomorrow in the lab for B1 and on Thursday for the B2. And then behavioral diagrams like activity diagram, use case diagram, all these examples. See, all these diagrams are your individual modules. For example, class and object diagrams is one module, activity diagram is another module, component diagram and deployment diagram is another last module. So these diagrams are your last module, but in the first module, you should have a basic understanding like what are all diagrams look like, what are all the features in them, how it looks like, just a basic understanding. So that I will show you in the lab. Okay, UML related things I will be teaching you in the lab, and rest all the things we will cover in the class only. Then after OAD, we have seen what is modeling, right? Why we need modeling, what is the use of modeling in OAD, and then I've talked to you regarding the unified process model. So any doubts till here? Last class we have seen till unified process model, right? This chart I've shown you. Any doubts till this point? Anyone? No doubts? Anyone? And only 40 students have joined. Your attendance is automatically recorded in the backend. So CR just told the students, okay, when you have logged in, how many times you have logged in, when you have logged out, how much time you were on the Blackboard, everything is recorded in the backend. So just make sure your attendance doesn't fall short at least of 75%. Okay. So okay, no one has a doubt. So just tell me, what is the difference between this unified process model I told you that day and SDLC, software development lifecycle? What is the difference between these two things? Tell me, what is the difference between a unified process model and software development lifecycle? Think about it. Just answer anything you can think of. It's a cyclic process. So SDLC can never be cyclic. You are right. It is a cyclic process. So does this mean that SDLC can never be cyclic? What is the difference? What do you think? Both look similar to me. If I am a student and my teacher is teaching me this topic, I will think that both are similar. You should also think the same way. In both the cases, there is requirement analysis, design हो रहा है, there is coding, there is testing. Only the name is looking changed to me, right? Here we are calling it, in unified process model, we are calling the phases like inception, elaboration, construction, transition. In SDLC, it was known as requirement analysis, testing, coding, deployment, right? Getting what I'm saying? So you should also get the same doubt that these two things are similar. What is the difference? Then why I am teaching you it separately, unified process model? Okay, before that, tell me the difference between a waterfall model and SDLC. Waterfall model or SDLC? UML, Ansh, we are not talking about UML right now. Okay? UML is separate. I'm talking about the difference between unified process model, this UPM. UML is, you are right, UML is blueprint and SDLC is design and layout. You are right about that, but I am asking the difference between this unified process model, this diagram, and SDLC. Before that, tell me the difference between waterfall model and SDLC. You have read this in software engineering, na? Try whatever you can think of. You know the answer. Tell me. Waterfall. What is waterfall model? ये कहाँ से आया था? From where it came? Waterfall model. It is one-way process, and we can't come back after step is done. And waterfall model comes under SDLC. Yes, you are right, Kshitij. Waterfall model was an example of SDLC, right? What is software development lifecycle? SDLC is a framework that if you are trying to make a software, you have to follow these steps. Right from the requirement analysis, waterfall model is a classic model, uses basic approach, SDLC and many steps. Okay, but actually all these models comes under SDLC only. Okay, what is SDLC? SDLC is just a framework that it's like your ethics that you have to follow these things. That if you're trying to make a model, you have to do the requirement analysis, then design, then coding, then testing, and then deployment. So SDLC is a framework, a set of rules that if you're trying to make any software, you have to follow these steps. And the sequence should be this only. Yeah, it's all. Getting it? Now, when you're trying, so this is just a theoretical concept. SDLC is just a theoretical concept on paper. But in real life, when people try to make any software, so to apply SDLC in real life, there are several models like waterfall model, like spiral model, prototype model, RAD model. Getting it? There are so many types of models. So these models are an example of SDLC. To do SDLC in real life, people can adopt any of these models. But the basic concept behind all these models is these processes have been followed in this sequence only. Thoda bahut approach can be changed. For example, in VV model, verification validation model, what happens? You are performing these phases, requirement analysis you are doing, design you are doing, testing, coding you are doing, testing you are doing, but simultaneously you are validating also at each step. Okay, so all these models, waterfall model, spiral model, VV model, prototype model, any kind of model in software engineering you can think of, all these are an example of SDLC only. They are a way to perform SDLC, right? Now tell me, itni kahani sunne ke baad, what do you think? What is this unified process model and SDLC? Is there any difference? Both are same? Kya hai kya? It's a part of SDLC. Okay. It's a part of SDLC or it is also a type of SDLC? Yes. So unified process model is also a type of SDLC only. UML can be used with any standard project lifecycle like SDLC. UML कहाँ से आ गया मेरे नाल इसमें भी? UML is okay. We are not talking about UML right now. Okay. So unified process model is also a type of SDLC. Like you have waterfall model, like you have spiral models and all other models. Unified process model is also a type of SDLC. Okay. Now tell me the difference between unified process model and waterfall model. Although there is a very basic difference. Just looking at this diagram, you can tell how a waterfall model goes from top to down, right? If there is requirement analysis phase, you have to first perform the requirement analysis, then only you can perform the design, then only you can perform the coding, then testing, and then deployment. So you have to go in this order only. in waterfall model. You cannot reverse it. And what does unified process model look like? It is in a cyclic format, right? Yes, Madhu, right. Kshitij. Okay. So this is the very basic difference between unified process model and waterfall model. And all these kind of models, whenever there is a term model in software engineering, it will be under software development life cycle only. Because overall, what is the theme and essence of the subject? You are trying to make a software, and some person has laid the foundation that this is a software development life cycle, that you are trying to make a software, you have to follow this life cycle only. Now, in which way, or in real life, how you want to modify it, you can do it, but you have to follow this framework. These are the set of rules, SDLC. How you apply the rule in real life, these are the models, like waterfall model, unified process model, and all those models. Okay. So in unified process model, basically there are many phases: inception phase, elaboration phase, construction phase, transition phase, and production phase. Okay. Last class I told you. There is one more concept which I am telling you right now. Either the question is about unified process model, or the question is about rational unified process. Both these things are same. Okay, in your syllabus you will see that one thing is written like unified process model, another is written like rational unified process. So both are same. What is the difference? I'll tell you. Unified process model is in SDLC comes various models like waterfall model, spiral model, and other is the this unified process model. Okay. Now in unified process model, also there are some verifications, some variations. For example, there is RUP, rational unified process. It is nothing, just everything is same like unified process model, but the thing was, it was created by one company, Rational Softwares. Now it is under IBM. Okay. They do the same thing which a unified process model is doing. It's just that they have created a patent for that, that okay, now I'm changing its name, it's rational unified process. I'll do the same things, but it will be under my company's banner. So that's why it's just rational unified process, because it was by Rational Softwares. Okay, nothing else. The concept is same. So either the question is regarding unified process model, or the question is regarding rational unified process. You have to write this same thing. Okay. So in unified process model, basically there are four phases, 4 or 5 phases, depends how what kind of software you are creating. But the important four phases are there: inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. In inception phase there is planning and user requirement analysis. Means the user will meet the project manager, they will discuss what are the user requirements, and all the requirements will be taken by the project manager in the form of SRS documentation. Okay, CL. Inception phase there is communication, there is planning. When I'm saying communication, it means user is communicating with the project manager as an end user who is giving the project, the client is communicating with the project manager. That is communication. When I'm saying planning, the project manager creates his team of developers, operations teams, hardware team, backend team, testing team, all those teams. They meet in the meeting and they are planning that okay, user has asked us these requirements. Why I'm telling you this again, and we will see every phase in detail again, because this is important with regard to your subject. Okay, as per your this is an important topic. That's why I'm saying it again. So in planning, basically the project manager creates his team. Okay, team of all developers and all those persons in the project, and they meet in the meeting room and they discuss that okay, user has asked us all these things. He need a kind of login page, he need this color, he need this kind of dashboard, he need these features in his project. So they will plan out everything. Okay, so that comes under the elaboration phase. And modeling also. Modeling means design. Same thing. In planning, they will discuss that okay, user has asked us these things. So in modeling, they will say okay, suppose the user has asked for a brown dashboard. So they will see that can they plan a brown color dashboard or not. User has asked for suppose your user has given an order for a tablet, and he has asked that it should not only have Wi-Fi, it should also have the cellular network. Okay, cellular network should also be present there. So they will see whether their company is capable of providing both these features or not. क्योंकि यहाँ तो वादे in the communication phase बड़े बड़े वादे तो कर दे यहाँ पे यूजर से. Now in the actually in the modeling phase or the design phase, they will see whether they can fulfill those promises or not. Okay, so it is that phases कि पहले सारे promises कर दिए. Now they will see whether they can do it or not. Okay, so that comes under the elaboration phase. Last is the third is the construction phase. Construction phase is simply here you are actually coding the project. Not only coding, in the backend there is operations team also. If you are coding, you need the hardware support also. So all the hardware supports will be provided in the backend. जितनी भी चीजें करनी है, actual groundwork is done here in the coding part. If you think logically, tell me in which of these phases you will make a UML diagram. कहाँ पे बनाओगे UML diagram? अगर यहाँ पे someone asks you to make a UML diagram in software development life cycle, where can you make a UML diagram? And where should you make a UML diagram? Yes. You will make the diagram in the elaboration phase or more explicitly in the modeling or the design phase. Right? As the name suggests, you are designing your system here. So before actual coding, obviously baat hai, if you are drawing a UML diagram, it has to be before this coding phase only. And it has to be after the user has communicated the requirements or the SRS document is created. So it has to be between these phases. And more explicitly, it will be in the modeling phase only. So whatever UML diagram, you know in real life, actually it's not like that. You first create the SRS document and you will make a UML diagram और फिर उसके बाद coding start करोगे. What happens is in the UML diagram only, UML is not just a modeling diagram. Okay, in the software industry, people, I told you not to download Star UML. In the softwares, actually, what people are doing in the industry, they are coding on the visual paradigm software. Okay, this is also a free software. The benefit of this software is if you're drawing any object-oriented diagram on this, or you're drawing any UML diagram on this, it can directly be converted into a Java code. So suppose there is a company who doesn't have coders, but who have some persons who knows modeling. They can draw some diagram for you. For suppose someone gave you a project that you have to draw software that can place order in the Domino's. Look at the same example which we were taking earlier, that you place the order in the Domino's, but you don't have any coders. Okay, but there is some person who knows some object-oriented concepts, and he can actually draw a UML diagram for that. So if that person draws this activity diagram in UML, in this visual paradigm, this can directly be converted into the Java source code without actually writing the code. So this is the power of your UML diagram. It is nothing just a diagrammatic representation. In real life, some people are actually doing this for the coding part also. Means they model your diagram here, and this can directly be converted into the Java code. The only Java source code is provided in visual paradigm. You can't convert it into C++ or any other right now. So this is the power of implementation. Suppose you don't know coding and you have been given a problem to solve it. But if you can represent that problem with the help of a diagram, that diagram will automatically convert your source code, your problem into the source code with the help of this visual paradigm. Okay. Now, what this was representing? This was nothing but it is representing, like, for example, in inception phase, how much percentage of modeling is done, how many percentage of requirement is done, how many percentage of analysis and design is done, how many percentage of implementation part is done, and how many testing is done. This is showing you that. Means what exactly, how many percentage of work, because it is not like that in inception phase we are just doing the requirement analysis. Requirement analysis is the first phase. But in the inception phase only, we are making a kind of small use case diagram. For example, suppose the main project is you have to make a software that can place Domino's order. So it doesn't mean that in inception phase you will only gather the information from the user. After gathering the information, After this communication part, you will try to create some small use cases. Like if you are doing coding, there are test cases, na? Before running your, suppose you have written a code, you have written a very large code. Then before, how can you know that your code is working or not working? You pass some small test cases to it. Okay, if you are into competitive programming, they will give you some test cases, 10, 15 test cases. And if you can pass those test cases, it will be assumed that your program is right. It is possible that apart from these test cases, your program may fail on any other test case also. But at least what is given to you, those 15 test cases should be passed by your program, then only it will be assumed to be accepted. In the same way, in inception phase also, after the user has said that I need all these documents, I need all these requirements, I need a software that can place order from Domino's, you will, in the planning phase, when the project is meeting in the, when the project manager is creating his team in the meeting room, they will create some very small test cases without any, there is no design done, there is no coding done, just roughly they will create some use cases. Okay, like user has asked this, so it should be, for example, they will create some very rough cases that okay, it should, my soft, how their software should be, suppose this is the user and it should place some order from the Domino's, so there is some technicalities that could come here. They are assuming right now, they are trying to create some simple use cases by making assumptions that okay, in the past also, we created some software and uske bana, while making that software, here some issues were arrived. While the user was interacting with the Domino's server, there were some server backend issues, so we have to take care of that. They can think that okay, while we were interacting with the Domino's server, and when Domino's server was responding back, it was taking a very long time when we created this software last time. So we have to be very assured of that. So like this, they will get some very small use cases based on their history. And if they are freshers, obviously no one is going to this kind of project to a fresher. But suppose they are a fresher company, they have got the first project, a very big project, then also they will try to, actually in real life they will outsource it. Okay, they will give some part of the project to other company, but still, whichever company is trying to do this, they will create some very small use cases. That is why if you see here, in this case, in the inception part, I'm telling we are not just modeling the user requirements, we are not just asking the users what they need, we are creating some small test cases also. We're trying to design some small systems. Okay, implementation parts, if you see, is very less here. Okay, it is not that right now in the inception phase only everyone will start coding. It is nothing like that. That's why it's a very small phase. Okay, testing. Testing will always be present everywhere, whatever phase or you are following of a software development life cycle, because you have to do the risk analysis, right? Risk analysis is a very important word in software development. If you have given a project and you start from the inception phase and goes to the deployment or the transition phase at last, और आपने you didn't perform risk analysis even at once, आप सोच के बैठो कि at last after the construction part is done, in the testing part only I will do the risk analysis, then definitely there is a very high chance that your project will fail. You have to perform risk analysis and testing in all these phases. थोड़ा थोड़ा ही करो, just do in a little manner, but you have to perform risk analysis and testing in all these phases, right? Next is your elaboration phase, where the design part and analysis part is done. Okay, just remember this, the planning and modeling. Okay, means the project manager asked his team to meet in the meeting room, and also the design part is getting set up. For example, suppose a UML diagram is also created in this step. Okay, so what are the key features or key things that will be happening in this elaboration phase? Again, modeling will be happening, but it will be very low. In the inception phase only, you will ask the user requirements, and जो भी मतलब the data you need from the users. Okay, whatever user requirements you need, or the SRS document, that is highly created in inception phase. After that, it will only modify. After every phase, that user, as per the user requirements, your SRS document will modify only. but major requirements will be collected in this phase only. That is one of the, if this was a waterfall model, if this same diagram I have to draw for the waterfall model, so what it will be there for the requirement phase? Tell me, if I have to draw the same diagram for the waterfall model, then in the requirement analysis, how this graph will look like? What do you think? Any graph of this in the waterfall model, how this graph will change? Fully check it. Or let me. What do you think of, suppose this requirements phase? What do you think in waterfall model? Will it be something like this and then flat, or somewhat like what is represented here in unified process model? Peak and flat, right? Why? Because in the waterfall model you can go only in one direction. If you are doing requirement analysis, you have to do every requirement analysis in this phase only. जो भी यूजर से पूछना है इसी बार पूछ लो. Suppose you are coding and user says that okay, I need this additional feature also, you will not incorporate in the waterfall model. You will say ऊपर से पूछ के आना चाहिए था. Now I can't do anything. So if you try to make this same graph in waterfall model, every discipline you are doing, for example requirement analysis you are doing, so it will be very high in the requirement analysis phase only. जो भी requirement analysis you want to do, just do in this phase only. After that your graph will fall flat. Analysis and design, there will be no analysis and design in the inception phase. It will be in the elaboration phase, then again it will fall flat. Implementation, there will be no implementation in the inception or elaboration phase. All the implementation will be in the construction phase, and then the graph will fall flat. So there are a lot of demerits for a waterfall model. That's why generally waterfall model is also not used. It is just a theoretical one. SDLC is nothing as just, you can say, a prototype for a waterfall model. You say SDLC or you say waterfall model, both are same. Both are just frameworks only. They are just ideal state, which can never be state, like the ideal state of a gas. Okay, these are on paper only. These are never achieved. Why you are giving more focus on this unified process model? Because this is what is applicable in real life also. You have to perform this cyclic iterations. That is why if you see here, the graph is there in all the phases. Because suppose you have done the construction phase. Okay, see here, suppose you have performed the implementation part, so the main coding part will be here. But this doesn't mean that in construction phase there will be no requirement analysis, there will be no designing, there will be no testing. Why? Because this is cyclic. After performing the construction or the coding part, suppose you did testing, and in the testing again the user asked you in the testing stage that okay, I need these additional features, now what to do? So you will incorporate those additional features in the requirement analysis part of the construction phase. Okay, suppose you coded everything here of your subject, of your software. After that you will perform this testing, and user asks you in this phase that okay, I don't need the dashboard like this, I need these additional features also. So अगर ये waterfall model होता तो model would have failed here. But since this is a unified process model, what you will do, you will iterate back to the requirement analysis, then you will incorporate whatever changes user is asking you, then you will design that changes also. आपको अपना UML model you also have to modify ना. So you will modify your UML model, then again you will code, then again you will ask for the testing, and this process will repeat. That is why it is cyclic, and that is why you are seeing some graphs here, here. In all the phases there are some graphs, because it is iterative model. But every phase, the major work done by every phase will be as per its name. For example, if it's an inception phase, then the highest peak will be of the requirement analysis part. If it is the elaboration phase, then the highest peak will be of the design part. If it's the construction phase, highest peak will be coding part. If it's the transition phase, तो वो तो सबसे लास्ट में आएगा. Okay, after every testing and etc is done. Any doubts, anyone? You got this now? Why this is distributed, because this is cyclic. Every phase is cyclic. Okay. For example, in elaboration phase, your main work is to perform design. You designed whatever user needed. After that, you coded your design. After that, you performed the testing. But some bugs came while testing, and those bugs were not with respect to this coding part. These bugs didn't come because of this coding. They came because of this design part. So you will iterate back to this design part. That is why in every phase, elaboration phase, construction phase, you are seeing some bits and pieces of graph in all your needs. Okay. Any doubts? Clear? Everyone clear? Okay. Now let's very fastly see all these phases again. I've told you everything, but sir, in the testing phase, can we get bugs in inception part? Where you are saying? Yeah, in the inception part also, not in only in testing phase, in any phase you can see in inception part there is testing, right? So here also, if any doubts there, that's why it's testing here. In every part there is testing. But when I say bugs is actually with regard to a software. If we're trying to create a software, in that software actually bugs comes. So in the inception part, as per se, you will not get bugs. Bugs you will get in this construction and transition phase के बीच में एक bug cycle होती है. There is a bug cycle between actual coding and the testing part. जो कि जो developers होते हैं, they interact with the testers. They write code, testers test them. If there is any bug, it is sent back to the developers. Again, developers will write the code. It will send to the tester. This is a bug cycle. So in the inception part, we are doing testing. Doesn't mean here bug is coming. If you haven't in the inception part, you haven't written any code. Okay, so the bugs related to coding part will not be there. From here, by testing, I means some risk analysis, some small risk analysis. Okay, based on their past history, of course. If you are given a new project and you are doing the inception phase, means what you are doing in inception phase, you are trying to gather the user requirements and also you are trying to model it out, the analysis part, right? So in the inception phase, the main part is that this requirement analysis, this, but still some testing will be there. For example, they will create very small use cases. I'll show you this again here right now. But testing will always be there. But when you explicitly say bugs, it comes in the coding part only. This bugs word, because bug cycle is followed between these two. Got it? Okay, Tanu. Now let's see the inception phase once again very fast. We have seen all these things. So what is the inception phase? From the idea to vision to the end of project. Means everything you will try to visualize in this inception phase only. When you are trying to inception phase, what were the things there? There was communication and there was planning. Communication means user requirement you have to gather, and planning means you have to ask your team to meet in the meeting room and plan out everything. So right from the scratch, you will try to visualize your project. Okay, there will be some business analyst also. The business cases will be prepared. Everything is done based on your past history. That if I tried to make this project in the past, this is what it looked like after getting completed. These were the errors that were encountered in these phases, and these were the solutions I presented. Everything. It's like you have your exam and you're trying to make your timetable, detailed timetable. Okay, it's something like that. Then what are the major users or actors, and what will be the system do for them. Means if you're trying to make this Domino's delivery system, users or actors means who are participating in them. For example, there will be the end user and there will be a Domino's. They are the users and how they are interacting, everything. Okay, this is a use case diagram basically, but we are not creating the UML diagram here. We are just writing a very small use case. In the next phase, elaboration phase, where the actual analysis part comes, there we will make the full use case diagram or the full activity diagram. Here we are just trying to write some small use cases. That's why I've told you. That's why here is a little bit of testing. If you want to do testing, you have to do it on something which is already made, right? In the inception phase, nothing is made apart from requirement gathering. Only these small use cases are there. Okay, these small use cases are there. Like in the past, when I tried to make this diagram, this software, in this part of this software, some issues came when this user was trying to interact with this system. So small use cases, not the whole software system. This small use cases, importance use cases. Okay, they will also try to see what could be the architecture of the system. They are not designing the architecture right now. Okay, they are just seeing that what could be done. Means everything related to your project will be discussed in this phase, not applied, only discussed on paper in this phase. There will be, actually कैसे होता है मीटिंग रूम में, there will be a projector, one person will give the presentation that okay, our project should look like this, everyone will be sitting here. This is what this inception phase is, because inception phase means first the user is communicating with the project manager, and then the project manager will ask his team in the meeting room, and everything related to that project will be discussed. That is this inception phase. If you have got the very idea, just write in your own words. Okay, I'm repeating this a lot of times, the same thing. That basic understanding is same. What is the basic understanding of SDLC? The same understanding is needed here. Only the name has been changed. In SDLC, you were calling this phase as the requirement analysis phase, and in unified process model, you are calling it as a inception phase. Okay, but as in the beginning, I have told you, this is nothing. Unified process model is nothing, just a type of SDLC. Okay, so all these things, what will be your plan, how much it will cost, everything will be analyzed in this phase only. Got it? So what you can why I have given you this in written, because if someone asks you rational unified model and you have drawn this diagram and this chart, and suppose it is a 20 marker question or a 10 or 15 marker question, then you will not just draw this diagram, you need some points to write. That's why I've given you these points in written. Okay, rest assured, whatever you have understood, the same thing is you are going to write, but just to give you some content to write, I've given this in detail. Okay, next comes, what are the outcomes you think of this inception phase? Chahte kya ho? Why you are trying to do this inception phase? So firstly, you were trying to create some initial use case models based on your past history. Your project glossary means, what does glossary mean? Tell me. Glossary, basically a kind of basically a kind of document where all the terms definition will be mentioned. So for example, a kind of dictionary where every term related to your project will be. Okay, so that is a project glossary, whatever you are going to use in your project. Initial business case. Okay, whatever business requirements or business use cases you need in your project, all those documents will be, all those will be documented here. Initial project plan and risk assessment, everything. Okay, right from the use case model, all the terms used in your project, business cases, what is the project plan, how you are going to implement it, what will be the timeline, what you try to achieve at every timeline, everything will be planned here. And also the risk assessment, obviously every phase there is testing, so risk assessment have to be there, right? And this thing is optional, one or more prototype. This depends if you have made this kind of project earlier or not. Suppose this Domino's example only, you are given this Domino's project, and in the past if you have made this Domino's project for say two parties, for party A you made this project in 2000 and party B you made this project in say 2010. So you will create some rough prototypes of these models also. A rough prototype you will try to create of this and also of this to see how you can use them to create this new model of 2020. That is one or more prototypes. It depends. This is optional. You have created this kind of project earlier or not. It depends on a lot of cases, but this is optional. But these things are mandatory in an inception phase. The same things are mandatory in the requirement analysis of any SDLC model. If someone asks you what happens in the requirement analysis phase of a SDLC or any model, you can write these things again there, because everywhere this thing only is done. This is nothing but all these things come under the SRS document. When I say explicitly SDLC, I will say SRS document is created. But what is inside a SRS document? All these things are there. You will write the use cases, you will write the dictionary meaning, business cases, everything will be written in the SRS document, right? Now, these were the things that we tried to achieve, or these are the things or the outcomes of your inception phase. Next comes the milestones, that what finally inception phase will give you. Kya hoga after the end of inception phase? Where will you reach? These are the milestones. Okay, stakeholder concurrence on scope definition means stakeholder means every person involved in the project: user, project manager, business analysts, the people who have gave money for your project or who have sponsored your project, the developers, everyone will decide to a particular point that okay, we need these kind of systems or these kind of things in our project only. It should not be like project is saying just code in C++ and developer is saying we will code in Java. It should not be like this. Everyone should be concurrence or coincide at one particular thing. Everyone should agree on one particular thing. There should be coherency. Okay, regarding scope of your project, definition, cost, schedule, जो भी word समझ में आए लिख देना. Regarding every aspect, it simply means regarding every aspect of your project, everyone should be agreed. लड़ाई नहीं होनी चाहिए between the stakeholders. Okay, requirement understandings as per the primary use cases. Whatever it simply means, whatever primary use cases you have created and what the user has asked you, the requirements, they should be same, right? For example, if the user has asked you to create a system to order from Domino's, the use case you will create will also be of the same type. You will not create a use case that will order pizza from Pizza Hut instead of Domino's. Okay, so there should be requirement understanding. What the user has asked, you have to create those requirements only as per the initial use cases. Okay, then there is credibility of cost schedule estimates. Means it should not be that the user has given you say 50,000 budget, and in your while making the project you will say okay, our initial budget will be 1 lakh, we will start with 1 lakh. No, it should not be like this. Whatever you have promised, everything should fall within that scrutiny only. So there should be credibility of cost and schedule estimates. If the user has told you that I need the project in 10 days, in the inception phase only everyone should agree that in the 10 months. So in the inception phase only everyone should agree that we need the project in 10 months only. पहले से सबको नहीं बोलना that we need the project in 1 year or we will create the project after 2 years. It is possible that there could be some delays, but initially whatever you have promised the user, everyone has to abide by that. Okay, depth and breadth of prototype. See, all these simply means whatever seeing in all these slides, it's just jumbled to give you some content to write. Okay, meaning is same. You have to create this SRS document and every person sitting in that meeting room should be agreeing on that SRS document. It simply means this in one line. Whatever the user has asked you, you should analyze all the aspects of that requirement and see if you are capable of that or not. It simply means that all these things. Okay. और क्या होगा if these milestones are not reached, if there is no coherency, everyone is fighting over the things, you are not able to create prototypes or you're not able to achieve what user is asking you or desiring, what will happen? The project may be cancelled or considerably rethought if it fails. Simply put, if everyone is fighting in the boardroom that we need C++, someone are saying Java, what will happen initially? The project will fail at this stage only. Right? Any doubts in inception phase? Clear? So we are trying to create some use cases, the architecture, how much cost it will take, rough planning, everything. Risk analysis part, everything in the inception phase. These are the outcomes we try to achieve from this inception phase. Okay, use case model, project glossary, business case, project plan, risk assessment, prototypes are optional. And finally, what are the milestones? Everyone should be happy. That is the milestone. And everything should be reasonable. If you will not achieve these milestones, your project may get cancelled. Any doubts? Tell me fast. Any doubts? Okay. Next was the elaboration phase. Okay. So we have seen this inception phase where you are communicating and you are planning. Now comes the elaboration part. That is the planning and designing part. Okay. So what will happen in the elaboration phase? You will analyze your problem domain. आपकी detailed analysis you will do. You will set the architectural foundation. Means whatever programming language, framework, mobile support, technical support, operational support, real life support, whatever we need. Now people have moved out of the boardroom. Everyone has went to their respective centers. For example, developers have went to their part. Operations team will move or do their part. Everyone has moved to do their role. So they will establish the architectural foundation, means whatever is required in the project. Eliminate the highest risk elements, okay, or address the most critical use cases. What does this means? In the inception phase, you were creating very small use cases. Okay. Now in the design phase, you will try to create the whole use case. You will create the whole UML model. Whole UML model will be created here. And based on your past experiences, if you think that there can be some very high risk, suppose you have made a use case that user is trying to interact with Domino's and Domino's is sending this thing through a hardware in say 10 seconds. Domino's is responding in 10 seconds through a hardware. You have drawn the use case for this, but you know that this is a very critical or a very high risk use case. It can fail. Then you have to address this. Either modify it somehow or delete it fully, but you have to address this critical issue. Okay. And refine plan of activities and estimates. In the design part, when you will design your whole system, you will see that okay, initially in the inception phase we thought that the project will take 50,000, but now the cost is exceeding by 10,000. So you have to refine all the plans. You have to also initiate, so and you have to also initiate to the user that okay sir, you gave us 50,000 budget, but while designing the plan we found out that 10,000 it is exceeding. So again, that is why it is cyclic. When you will say to the user that the budget is increasing by 10,000, again the requirement analysis phase will come, again this design analysis phase will come. So everything is cyclic, right? So what you are trying to achieve from this outcome, firstly you are drawing the whole use case model. You are drawing the whole UML diagram in this phase only. If there are any supplementary requirements, if the user suddenly says no, I need these things also, then again you have to incorporate that. Okay. Non-functional requirements means suppose the things which are not related to the coding part. You can say, for example, user says that I need green dashboard, yellow dashboard, purple dashboard. So all these non-functional diagrams, all these non-functional requirements, everything will also be included in this design phase. And the main, when you hear the word design, this architecture word should strike your mind. When I'm saying design means the coder will set his laptop for coding, the operations team will set up their servers, any mobile support is needed, that will be provided. What will the framework languages you are going to use, what kind of softwares you are going to use, everything will be designed, or this is the architecture, software architecture, right? So apart from that, again the same thing, you have to draw the whole model, design, prototype. You have to revise this project plan, and risk assessment will always be there in the inception phase. Initially also I've told you this testing part is in every phase. It is majorly performed in the testing phase, but it will be there in all the phases. So in all the phases, we will not say it is a bug. We will say it is a risk assessment kind of testing. Okay. And preliminary user manual will also be created. Final user manual will be created after the testing phase when the project is deployed. User manual is, suppose you have brought a new product, you are given a user manual, right? How to operate this product, what are the things in your system. So all these user manuals, preliminary user manual will be created here, not the full user manual which is sent to the user at last, only just sketch of the user manual. Okay, that will be created here. Then what are the milestones that will be achieved? क्या पढ़ रहे हैं हम लोग? We are reading elaboration phase, means planning and analysis, or design, planning and design phase. So simply put in one line, designing phase or this elaboration phase is nothing but you are trying to set your software architecture. You are creating the UML diagrams, you are trying to set up your software architectures. And obviously risk assessment and testing, etc., all things you are doing, but the major thing which is performed in this is the architecture which you are trying to create. So after this elaboration phase, you should be at a stage that you should be able to answer these questions, that are this vision what you are trying to create and this architecture which you have drawn to create, are they stable or not, or will they fail when you finally code? Does this prototype show that the major risks have been addressed or resolved? Is your diagram or is your UML diagram or any kind of modeling diagram you have used, that did it show what are the risks that is involved in your project and you have addressed those risks also? Okay, like UML is a blueprint, I have told you. UML is the blueprint. Coding part is the actual implementation. So this is nothing but the blueprint you are trying to draw of your system. So blueprint should have everything apart from coding. So right from the users or the use cases which are going to participate in your project, to the architecture which you are going to use in your project, to the risks that can come, everything should be solved at this phase only. इसके बाद सिर्फ coding ही करनी है, ईंट के ऊपर ईंट लगा के you have to make the house. After this phase, no, means you can perform the changes because it is cyclic, but it is assumed that your project is at the final stage. अब बस coding करना है और testing करके deploy कर देना है. All the after the requirements, the main architecture should be handled in this phase only. Okay, is your plan detail sufficient or accurate? Does all the stakeholder agree that the vision can be achieved with the current plan? ये तो वैसे inception phase में ही you have to achieve. Everyone should agree, means all the stakeholders should agree on your architecture also. What is the resource expenditure versus the planned expenditure? Acceptable means, suppose in the initially you asked the user 50,000, but now you are saying that no, we need 60,000 budget. So is this acceptable or there is some corruption going on? So everything should be clear. Okay, if you will not meet these milestones of the elaboration phase, your project may be cancelled. Okay, still there is no coding done, so project may be cancelled or rethought from the very starting. फिर से सब कुछ करना पड़ेगा, because till this phase no actual coding part is done, only the designing has been done on paper. After the coding gets completed, it is actually difficult to cancel the project because the money has been invested in the hardware and softwares. But till this part, all the hardware and softwares are on paper only. So it is possible that user will cancel your project. In real life में क्या होता है? For example, suppose you have given an order to a company to create a custom PC for you. You have given an order to create a custom PC for you. So when you place the order, suppose you have submitted them 50,000 rupees, that I want a PC for 50,000 rupees. So when they will set the requirement analysis phase is done, they ask you what kind of processor you need, what kind of hard disk you need, how many GB of RAMs you need. So this analysis part is done. Now when they were creating the actual system, suppose they were not directly setting up your processor, or they were not directly setting up the CPU, they are first creating a layout or a structure of your computer. After getting created, the computer should look like this, and they encountered that no, we need to, this processor is not supported by this graphics card. So there is some issue what the user has asked us. So they will inform the user, sir, you have to increase or decrease your budget because this processor is not getting supported by this graphics card. We cannot create the system with this design. So either the user will say, okay, let's increase the budget, or the user will cancel the project. Got it? So okay, the times is up. So we will see the next two phases in the next class. Any doubts till here? Inception and elaboration phase clear? So tomorrow in the lab, I will, last time I showed you, see, two things are running parallel. I'm telling you the concepts here, and also in the lab we are doing the UML part. In last class also I told you a bit about UML, that there are structural models and there are behavioral models. We stopped till that point. Remember, right? That in the UML there are structural models, behavioral models, and when you combine both of them, it is known as architectural model. This is what I told in the last class, the last slide. So in the structural model, there are class diagram, object diagram, component diagram, deployment diagram. In the behavior diagram, the activity diagram, use case diagram, all those things are there. So I will continue that in the tomorrow's lab. Okay, I will show you the example of all these diagrams, and then from the next lab onwards, we will start implementing those diagrams, because as per your course plan, actually, we have to see these diagrams at least once. पहले एक बार देख लो how they look like, then we will start coding. So hopefully everyone has installed the star UML. And if you are facing any difficulty, you can install this also, Visual Paradigm software. This is also a good software. There is no crack thing required in this. This is a free software. So anything will work. Okay. Same thing you run all those stuff. So anything will work. Fine. So we will meet in the next class. Thank you.